I'm Matěj Skalický and this is Czech Radio News Podcast Vinohradská 12. Unrequited love. Russian investigative journalist Elena Kostyuchenko loves her country, yet it has given her many reasons to turn her back on it. She remains unbroken. Most notably, she refused to give up on Russia and her love for it, despite serious suspicions that Kremlin agents had tried to poison her. It's Saturday, July 26th. Hi, Elena. Thank you very much for joining us on this podcast here in the building of Czech Radio.
Hi, I'm very happy to be here.
I wonder if you remember when we last spoke.
No.
It was in August 2023 on Signal. It was 10 months after someone tried to poison you in Munich, Germany. Do you already know who it was?
No, not really. Investigation is still going on, and there is a second investigation performed by journalists of the Insider and Bellingcat, and it's also still going on. It's not over.
It's not over. But it was someone with the connection to or with orders from Vladimir Putin's regime in Russia.
We don't know. I mean, till these guys are not caught and till they not answered the questions, we don't know what was the motive.
And if the police investigation and the Bellingcat investigation is still going on, do you know more details than you did back then?
I don't.
You don't?
No, none is informing me, and I think it's fine because I was the victim. I'm not objective, so I shouldn't really know.
Do you know what were you poisoned with?
No, but some experts are thinking that it was organic chlorine compound, like dichloretan. This substance is used in different industries. It's not that specific as Novichok, for example. So that's why it's harder to track.
Do you know how it was done? You were traveling to Munich to have meeting there?
I was applying for Ukrainian visa because I was about to go to Ukraine again to report from the war site. And I had meeting in the Ukrainian embassy, consulate, and then I had a meeting with my friend, and then I took a train back. And on the train back, I experienced the first symptoms.
What were like? You started feeling dizzy, you had a stomachache.
First, I felt a smell. My sweat smelled like rotten fruits, and it was really strange. And then it was headache and loss of orientation. It was really hard for me to figure out how to take train back home, and shortness of breath. And on the next day, stomachache began.
Your liver enzymes were elevated as well, and you were extremely tired.
Yes.
Some symptoms lasted even 10 months later. How are you feeling now?
Actually, great. I think I fully recovered. Thanks God there was no long-term consequences for my health, or at least we didn't find any.
You've mentioned several times that you love Russia or you have a strong connection with Russia. If there were a proof that the poisoning was ordered by the Kremlin regime, would the love persist?
Yeah, sure, because I separate state from the country. I mean, country is people and state is like government structure. I don't love Russian state per se. Obviously, they started the war I hate. And I do love Russian people, and there is no contradiction for me here.
So the title of your book, My Beloved Country, is not an irony?
No, it's not. I mean, then I just invented it. We were laughing a lot with my translator and my wife. But more I was writing, less it became ironical. Yeah.
You know, why am I asking this? Because the book describes some very, very dark things about Russia. Violence, corruption, poverty, homophobia. What is there to love?
Again, people. I mean, when I say I love Russia, I mean I love people which are united with me, with common destiny. And it's not the same feeling what you feel when you fell in love in someone, like when everything is pink and glowing. It's more like feeling of belonging. I feel I belong to these people and they belong to me. It's more like you feel about your arm or leg. I mean, you don't feel excited about your leg every second, but if it hurts, it only thing what you can feel. So this love hurts very much right now, but I don't want to reject it anyway.
What kind of people we're talking about?
I mean, they are very different. I mean, I don't define myself from Russia or my mother or my sister or my characters or my colleagues. I mean, their hopes and their choices and their ideas are forming this reality, probably not the best possible way, but I do feel connected with them, and I do feel that this is love.
They are good people. They are different from the regime.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that we can define good people from bad people. I mean, in some cases we can, but most times it's all mixed inside the soul. And I was trying to understand people around me for many, many years, and I still am trying to do so. And love gives me strength to do it, because I don't believe in the concept of love what Vladimir Putin proposing. Like, then you love Russia, you go kill Ukrainians. When you love Russia, you need to shut up, be silent, or lie. You need to obey. Love doesn't demand any obedience or lies or, of course, murders. Love demands very precise look at the things you love. And it's what I'm trying to do.
In your book, there are some excerpts from your childhood in Yaroslavl, where you grew up with just your mother. What was that life like?
It was tough time for my country. It was 90s, time straight after the fall of Soviet Union. I know that here in the West there is a perception that it was time of freedom in Russia and blah, blah, blah. It wasn't. It was time of poverty and crime and corruption, and it was really hard to grow up in these years. But what can I say? I mean, our propaganda is still using the terror of people about 90s to prove why Vladimir Putin is so good. But the thing is that Vladimir Putin is as child of 90s as I am. It's time when the main thought, the main idea was the strongest is the right one. Like, who has all the strength, he has all the rights. And this is what Vladimir Putin is implementing in his politics. So I don't specifically define Putin from 90s as many of my colleagues do. I think he was born in the same mess as I was.
How defining for you was the moment when the journalist Anna Politkovskaya was shot in 2006 in the elevator of her building? Because she was someone who inspired you as a young girl in what she was doing back then.
Yeah, she was the reason why I joined journalism and why I joined Novaya Gazeta. I was 14 back then, and I fortunately bought an issue of Novaya Gazeta and I opened it on her article. It was an article about cleansing of Chechen village massacre yurt. 36 people were murdered there. But the story what struck me the most was the story of young Chechen boy who didn't let his mother listen Russian songs on the radio anymore because Russian soldiers took his father away from him, and then they brought him back. He was dead and his nose was cut off. And I couldn't stop thinking about this boy. I mean, I thought that I was quite informed teenager because I was reading, newspapers, I was watching TV. But when I read this article, I realized that I know nothing about my country. First, I was pissed off on Novaya Gazeta because they kind of tore away from me the common truth and I didn't have my own. But when I realized that this article kind of returned me back to the reality, even if I didn't know that I am a part of it. And I decided that it's a good way to go, and that's why I joined Nova.
So you came to the conclusion that the propaganda media tells a different story of how Russia works and is.
Absolutely. I mean,
like.
I was reading this article and I realized that there is so many things I don't know, like about cleansing. I didn't know the world even. On the TV, the general story was that Russian army is bravely fighting with Chechen bandits and terrorists protecting the civilians. And here I read the whole article about how Russian army is killing the civilians. I know that now on the 4th year of Ukrainian war, it's something that hard to be surprised with, but back then it was shocking for me.
Did this empower your activist part of you to become more vocal in the public space as well, in the LGBTQ plus protests in Moscow? How did the violent crackdowns there affect you? Because you were beaten up.
Yeah, I was beaten many times. I mean, I don't even remember how many times. Usually it was some so-called Orthodox activists of neo-Nazis, but sometimes it was the police officers. I joined protests not because I felt passionate for the people. I felt passionate about my own future. I'm a lesbian and I didn't have rights I needed to have. So I thought this is the fastest way to get some. And I really thought that it would be so easy to explain other people, why do I need equal rights? Why do I need the right to have a family and to have children? But then our state targeted LGBTQ people as scapegoats, as enemy within. You know, like to build functioning fascism, you need both enemies outside and enemies inside the country. And LGBTQ people were very visible and very bright minority, so we were targeted first.
Did your mother help you to go through this?
Not specifically. I mean, it took her a while to find peace with my orientation, and she knew that I would go to the street for the protest, and she called me after every protest. And when I said I was detained, she's like, thanks God, because she was happy that I was detained but not killed. She thought that if I was detained already, police would protect me from neo-Nazis.
Speaking of your mother, how hard was it when you found out that your mother sees Russian invasion of Ukraine as justified?
It was awful because, you know, my mom is really smart and really kind person. I mean, I will try to explain to the extent how kind is she. This year, she planted 40 tomato bushes because then she was putting seeds in the ground. It turned out that everything started to grow and she didn't want to kill tomatoes, so that's why she's raising 40 tomato bushes right now, you know.
So her garden is full of tomatoes right now.
Yeah, like tomatoes are everywhere. And for this person to justify the killings, it's something unimaginable for me. But the thing is, she belongs to the generation which was extremely, extremely strongly affected with Russian propaganda, which is very sophisticated and very well-founded. So to trick my mother, there are enormous resources to use, you know, to trick her. And it was to the enormous extent, I mean, she was calling me to Ukraine, trying to explain me what exactly I see and hear, because she had an idea that she, watching Russian TV, has better idea what's going on in Ukraine than I'm being in Ukraine myself. And it was very painful for me. To some point, I even was thinking that probably we should stop communicating at all, as many of my friends did stop communicating with their parents. But when I realized that I don't want to give up on my mom to give her to Putin, because she's my mom after all, and, you know. So we continued to speak pick it up, and it was tough. But after hours and hours and hours of our conversations, she doesn't think this war is justified anymore. She thinks that it's criminal and pointless. So you can undo this propaganda influence on the person you love, but it takes lots of time and
it's
effort.
very hard.
Yeah.
You describe Russia as a lost country. You made a clear distinction between the state regime and the people. So are the Russians lost as well?
I think many of them are, in the sense that the war which is going on is so... I don't even have,
words
terms
to express
for
it.
Yeah, because every Russian family I know has relatives in Ukraine. Every Ukrainian family I know has relatives in Russia. It's so unnatural for us to fight. And this hatred, these crimes, these murders is very hard to bear. And many people I'm talking with every day, they don't really have any strategies of future anymore because they don't understand how future can look like. And some of them don't even understand if they deserve any future at all. I recently talked with a friend of mine, and her friend is the one who were looking for remains of the fallen soldiers of the Second World War, because many of them are unburied and they just all around Russian fields. And it's what he's doing for many, many years. And he thought that the war was something so awful and unnatural and disgusting, and he thought he would give this knowledge at least to his children, but his own son went voluntarily to the war in Ukraine and died there. And now he doesn't know how to live any further. You know what I mean?
How many years have you been living abroad?
Since the full-scale invasion had started, I went to a business trip and never came back.
3.5 years. Would you, if you had a chance, would you ever go back to Russia?
Of course. I would give my left arm for that opportunity. I mean, I'm a field reporter and it's really hard for me to be apart from the field. I really want to be back to my country, back to my people and back to my language. But so far, it seems like almost suicidal move, and I don't know when I will be able to come back.
Do you feel safe in Europe after what happened in October 2022?
Not anymore. I mean, it was full of me to felt safety even before it had happened, but now I don't.
How much has the poisoning in late 2022 changed your life in the everyday situations, routines? Yeah.
Actually, it changed my life back to the normal life I had in Russia. Because when I was living in Russia, as a journalist, I had security protocols, some security routine every day. And when I left it for Europe, I stopped doing all these tips and tricks, and now I'm back to them. I know it sounds crazy, but it looks like more like my normal life.
Today, you live partially in the United States and in Europe?
I prefer not to disclose. I'm traveling a lot.
Are you able to work as a journalist while you're traveling a lot?
Well, I'm trying to find my way, because before the full-scale invasion and after it began, when I worked in Ukraine, I mostly was writing in Russian for Russians about Russia. And now it's not an option anymore because I'm a field reporter and I can't be in the field right now. So right now I'm writing the second book. It's not about Russia. I mean, partly it is about Russia, but not about Russia in the big extent. And I'm thinking about some topics outside of Russia which I can cover as a reporter.
You live with your wife. She's a journalist as well. Your sister is a journalist.
Mm-hmm.
She lives in Russia.
Yeah, she's in Moscow now.
Your mother is in Russia as well.
Mm-hmm.
Aren't you afraid for them?
Every day. Every day.
How do you fight it?
I don't fight it. I mean, I try to accept it. I mean, it's their choice, and I'm very proud of the work my sister is doing back there, and she's a tremendous investigative reporter. She's doing a lot of great stuff, and I know that she can be arrested any moment, and I'm trying to embrace her choice, but it's really hard.
Can you do something to make the people around you more safe?
Not really. I mean, this is one of these painful discoveries I had in the last 4 years. You don't really control the life. You don't really control the risks. Even you feel you do, it's a mistake. So what I can do is just to share my love with them, trying to have as many great moments as we can. But no, I can't protect my family.
Okay, Jelena, thank you very much for all the answers. Take care, please take care.
Thank you.
And that's all for today. I spoke with Russian investigative journalist Elena Kostyuchenko. Thank you for listening.
Jaký chcete Český rozhlas?
Váš názor nás zajímá. Zapojte se do diskuse o tom, co by měl Český rozhlas nabízet v následujících letech.
Vyplňte prosím dotazník nebo přijďte na setkání
S Alešem Cibulkou
a s Janem Pokorným.
Více na webu jakýchcete rozhlas.cz.
Děkujeme, váš Český rozhlas.